So I have a really fun one for you guys today.
Mega Cab, we're still stripping paint, but we're making really good progress on it, but it's going to postpone the other video. So, unless you guys want to wait a couple weeks for the next one, it's going to be a little bit of time. How about we do this instead?
First things first, we're going to need a battery charger. We're going to take all those tools and put them into my dad's Sierra.
Something might be going on.
Grab an extremely basic toolkit.
And a couple other supplies.
Batteries.
Add a little bit of Tim Hortons, the old mechanic diet.
2 jugs of fuel. Gas. Diesel.
So one might ask, what exactly is going on? What's with all that gear? Well, you guys know what it is. It's revival gear. We're going to be doing a blitzkrieg of revivals today. I'm talking old Ford trucks, tractors, maybe even a Galaxy 500, El Camino, whole bunch of stuff. We basically got to move some stuff around and get stuff ready for winter. And some of this stuff hasn't ran in years, especially a white David Brown tractor. That guy's been sitting for about 6 years. So it should be a pretty fun time. And I want to take you guys along the way. Welcome to High House Stable Garage. Now add just a little bit of sugar and spice. We'll wait for the sun to come up, kind of set up some stuff, and then we'll get right to it. We got quite a honey hole. So we have quite the little honey hole. As you can see, lots of old stuff that has to be moved basically before winter, and a lot of this stuff has not ran in quite a little bit. We're going to start with the easiest one, Trans Am. He just came here about week and a couple days ago. We're just going to move him out of the way. We'll deal with him near the end of the video, storage-wise. But let's do a cold start on that fella, move him out of the way, and then we can sink our teeth in some of this old iron. Awesome. Now this old fella, he shouldn't fight us too bad, one would think. Let that little fella warm up a bit, and then we'll move him just kind of out of the way, dig our teeth into the other one.
Now, we have Dad's old truck being the reliable steed from Meow until the Mega Cab is all done up. So what we're going to do, I think what's suiting to get a whole bunch of old trucks running, old cars running, tractors running, and all that stuff, how about we use this guy as the on-property steed, move that stuff around. He ran, I would say it's about a year ago plus a couple months, and we just kind of hodgepodged the wiring to get her going. I can barely remember how we did it, but I think the old F47, she's gonna do the just trick. This old F47, she's a pretty original and complete unit. She's a nice old gal. So we'll do a quick buzz through. There's another video of me getting this running last year, but we'll do a quick run through just for people that haven't seen it, and then we're going to dive right in. I'm going to have to do some wiring on this for sure, and we're going to have to do some basic, I think, fuel work. We'll see how she goes. So she's a beauty of a little single cab there. Kind of been used for storage for the last couple years. Hasn't been on the road since I think 2018 or 2019. Don't quote me on that. We'll have to watch the old video to tell about it. Well, that's her from the front end. My gosh, she's a dandy little fella. I love it. Good. All the tires seem to be holding air, which is really good. And she has old gas cans and stuff kind of strewn about on her. Nothing too crazy. That one's actually just kind of sitting there. We might have to move him. But yeah, that's the old fella. I think fuel tank even works on this guy. Sure worked pretty good. Open her up. Key's still in it. That's good. Old carpets, that kind of stuff. She's a 3 or 4 speed. We'll figure that out as we go. And the wiring is a fun one on this. In case you don't know how to open the hood on these old Fords, the handle right here. Pull that guy up.
and up she goes. And that reveals the sweetheart of a little flathead V8 in her.
And my oh my, she's a fine little unit. Now, if I can remember correctly, the entire ignition system is foobarred on this little fella. It all needs to be rewired. That's if I can remember correctly, because you got fan going into it, like it's not good. So what we might end up doing is rewiring the entire ignition system, or at least finding out where we need to go on it, because we're not trying to make this guy reliable right now. We're just trying to get him to run and move and do the thing. That will come later on. So, first off, let's put a hot battery in it. This has been converted to 12 volt, just in case you guys want to know. We'll put a hot battery in it, see just what happens. But I'm pretty sure I bridged a lot of connections last time we got her going, just to bypass that key and see if we can get her to move. That might be what we end up doing today. Battery of choice. Let's throw the red top in her.
One thing old Derek knows from Vice Grip Garage that, you know, apparently I don't, is you choose the battery with the go handle. I just chose, you know, the one I've had, so it is what it is. But I think she's gonna work out just fine, even off from red top anyway. All right, let's hodgepodge this fella in here. Couple wires all cut up. We'll kind of sauce them over to the side there. So we had a little bit of arky sparky. I'll bring you guys over. We'll take a look at how she's going. So either it's gonna burn down or the key's on. It's one of the two.
Whoa, someone forgot to turn the lights off, apparently. I don't know if that was me or not. But those fellas are on. That would explain the arky sparky. Wonder if we got tail lips. Oh, okay, only one, but that's okay. So, let's go on inside. Oh, I'm like a hummingbird. I'm just bouncing around. Hold on. I told you I was going to show you guys what's going on here. So, this is what I mean for wiring. I got a green wire. I got a red wire. I got a red wire here. And our ground is this super long cable that kind of comes over here. Our coil, he's doing that. And then we have our fan for an electric fan. He's doing that. There's a lot of things going on this fella. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna go shut off the lights. I'm gonna need to keep that battery power. And then we'll go from there.
All right, what do we got going on? What do we got going on? Where's my lights? That must be them right there. Oh yeah, that must be lights right there. It's moving that dial all over the place. So, what do we got? We got 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's a 3-speed plus reverse. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Not too shabby at all. What happens when I bump the key? A lot of nothing. We got a starter button? Oh, we do. Let's clutch in. Oh, okay. We got bad connection on that starter for sure. Awesome.
So I thought maybe, just maybe, the old battery was dead, and that's why she was whirling over slow. But she's still whirling over slow. Now, we could voltage drop the entire thing, but judging by the wires, especially where the ground's located, that's going to be my problem. So what we might end up having to do is jump her straight down to starter, right off of this fella, bridge that gap. That might work. Boop, boop, boop. Go right to him. Either way, we have to find out how to turn on the old ignition system. It's likely one of these wires here. What I'm going to do, I'm going to turn on the key, check for power. So what I'm going to do, just for simplicity's sake, we could always just do jumpers and all that stuff, but I don't know how much brake this fella guy has. Oh, none. Okay, so we're going to want to shut this down in the cab if she starts to, you know, whirl away on us. So what we're going to have to do is get this key functional. What I might do is come in here, take this lock cylinder off, boop, 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 take him off, find my main wire that's obviously shorted out, and we're just going to run our own wire from this guy to that guy. We'll fix it down the road, but that's a lot better than just doing a jumper, especially if we can't shut off the truck. Now, this is what we got for the ignition system. Looks like a mess, and it's very temporary. Whenever we redo this entire wiring harness, because we would be redoing the entire wiring harness, we'll address that issue. But for right now, this is what we got going on. We got a power wire
going down here. He goes into the cab to our switch. And then we have hot unfused power, which is basically going straight to the coil through our switch. Then we have our switch right here. He's on and off. That's how we're gonna shut off the truck, basically. I put him right there for ease of access. So with the key on and that on, we should have power to the coil and power to the starter, but starter spins super slow. Connections are not happy down there at all. So we're gonna have to either clean those up or jump it. It's one of the two. So this is the game-winning setup. We're gonna try piggybacking, basically. I got an extra ground set up right there. Sorry, my hand was in the way. We have our live power going to our starter. I have him powered on to the solenoid, and we got an extra ground there. Because again, your starter goes ground first, so if the grounds are really bad, it's gonna whirl over super, super slow. That's maybe the case that we're having. So this should still let us use everything. I might just, twirl him around this if it works. But yeah, so we have our ignition system, hot positive with key on. We have our key that should twirl that all over. The bowl should be still full. We're gonna assume it is. And let's crank on it and see what happens. I got faith on the old girl. All right, we got a super slow key. So what I'm gonna do. All right, so we got updates. Took the starter cable off. Can't really do too much about the cable itself. It's not the hottest shape, but the connections were really bad. Sanded those down a little bit. And then the starter solenoid had this big old nut behind it. So obviously that's not gonna do anything. And then down on the starter itself, it had a stack of 4 rusty washers. So that's not gonna work either. So we're gonna remove those, see how she do, and most likely we'll run double ground right from the battery post down to the starter. I think that should work with this cable good. So, gonna finish cleaning some stuff up. We'll put them in and we'll try it again. All right, so all the connections are back together. Took out the washers and stuff, but turns out that was the wrong nut. So that solenoid's already kind of stripped out. So I had to put the nut back there as a spacer, but instead of it being behind, it's now in front. We just need it to squeeze onto that pedestal, same as on the starter. It just needed to squeeze on. So we're gonna try it without the jumper cables first. I'll put live power to it again, and we'll see what she does. Pour just a little bit of guzzling down at the app. We'll see how that turns out. Yes, sir. Yup, she's a cute old sweetheart. Can't go wrong with that. The old flathead V8 barely needed any little bit of work to get going. You just gotta love them. But yeah, I'm gonna let old Smokey run for just a little bit. That way we can run it without the choke, because right now it's on full choke. But it should be good. Can't go wrong with that. My gosh, she's a cute little thing. Just running like a top now. Smoke's almost gone. It's running on about, I don't know, whenever it was parked. Let's say it was 2017. It's running on 6-year-old gas in the tank. But you're pretty good. Can't go wrong with that. starting well. We got to give it a prop. Oh, he didn't like that. Can't take the choke all the way off just yet. Issues going on with this little fella, but we'll just keep letting him air out, kind of figure himself out there a little bit, warm him up, and then we can move him. All right, the old fella must be up to speed by now. So, due to note, we don't got no brakes, so we'll have to gently move her around. Just gonna back that truck up. I'll put a safety wood over there. The idea is we'll back it up just a little bit, put her in gear, shut her off, put a stick or something, and then we can kind of maneuver her around. That's the idea anyway. All right, so because we have no brakes, I put up some safety wood. The idea is we're gonna see if we have reverse first, and then we'll see if we have first, but I'll likely reverse it up, shut her off, put her in first gear, then we can remove that wood, bring her forward, and then we can slingshot her back. That's the plan anyway. We'll see how that goes. We backed her out of there, finagled her over here, has no brakes at all, 0 brakes. So we also turned the lights on, you know, see what's working, see what's not. All the wheels hold air, that's pretty good. He's a pretty solid little fella. Oh, the old trailer wiring's kind of coming off of her, that's okay. Looks like we got tail lips, that's pretty awesome, not gonna lie. Oh, this is gonna tell us what's going on. So it was 2019, so it was 4 years ago, almost 5 years ago, that she got parked up. We had to figure out what is going on with the brakes. We don't need all the brakes, we just need some of the brakes in order to, you know,
do the tool thing with this little fella. Really takes you back in time to when things were simple and vehicles were glorified tractors. But she runs like a top. She's just been idling here for the last 35 minutes. No real issues other than a little bit of carburetor adjustment. She's still running on choke, but you can only do what you can do. But no, Dad's old truck living once again. That's awesome. So we're gonna shut her off. I'm gonna jack her up, and we're gonna see if I can find what's going on with the brakes, because we found the master cylinder, or at least the hodgepodge cylinder. We've got to pull that plug. There's likely no fluid in her from sitting. I guess it all leaked out, but most likely somewhere there's something going on. Likely a blown brake. Could be a lot of things. She's a good old sweetheart though. All right, well, there's also a good chance to see if my hillbilly ignition system works. Awesome. That's exactly what we wanted. Turn the key off. Don't know if there's an accessory on this little fella. We'll turn her off so we can pull it out. There we go. That must be the off position. Awesome. That's pretty darn slick. So now we got to pull that plug, put some fluid in it, and kind of see if we can find that brake line and squish him off. We only need some. That's all we need. Well, my friends, it's not the hottest looking fluid in there, but it is a fairly new cap and a fairly new master cylinder. So I'm just wondering, is this guy seized? Because I can't get him any further down than there. And I can kind of see, if you look real closely, you see that orange little piece there? Let me enhance. 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 There we go. I'll try to keep this guy steady. All right, take a look at that hole with that little guy. So it is moving. It's just super stiff. Like super stiff. So maybe, just maybe, it's just seized up. So I'm going to go underneath. We're going to lubricate everything and work it, basically. See if we can get that fluid to do what fluid needs to do. So just to take note, we're not going to be, going too far with this fella, so it's not a big deal. But there's a little bit of bearing playing that. Just a touch. That's okay, though. Oh, yeah, for sure. All right, so we got old Smokey all jacked up. Let's go underneath and see if we can see anything wrong with her. I should be a little bit more specific. Wrong, brake-wise. I'm sure there's lots of questionable things on this old fella. All right, so good news is that looks fairly new. You don't got to worry about the double nut and triple nut and all that stuff, but it looks fairly new, at least, on that brake. Let's pretend we didn't see that guy. This brake right here, too, doesn't look too bad either. We're just gonna pretend we didn't see that either. All right, so I'm underneath taking a look at the old brake. This is the brake rod right here. And as you can see, it's not seized in or anything. So if there's anything seized, it's gonna be inside the plunger. So we're just gonna have to sure foot it a few times. See if we can get that plunger to move on the inside. You could take this guy off and rebuild it, but I think everything in this little fella needs to be rebuilt. So if we were gonna rebuild anything, we might as well, take her down the road and start from scratch. You don't gotta worry about the two frames welded together. As for the rear brakes, that guy looks fairly new, that wheel cylinder. And that guy looks fairly new, that wheel cylinder. We even have good emergency brakes, so I think it's literally just a master cylinder problem. Might have a leak, but I think it's just a master cylinder problem. You don't gotta worry about the slop or, the drippy drip. At least that's a really easy frame to repair. Whoever repaired it, it's been working, but the truck hasn't been working, you know what I mean? So if we actually want to trust it, we're gonna have to redo it down the road. But right now, we just want brakes. That's all we want. So now that we know what we know, I think all we're gonna do is just mash the brake pedal a bunch and kind of see what happens. See if we can free that guy up. I'll bring you guys back if there's a puddle somewhere or you hear it go bang, or something like that. All right, so new plan. What we're gonna do, we're gonna try to heat up the master cylinder. The bore itself. High probability that we'll melt the seals right out of it and it will always leak. Or, completely just, give up on us. But it's either that or have no brakes at all. Because we're not going to rebuild that in this video. We're not doing any of that. We don't got the time. This is kind of like a blitzkrieg again. We're already soaking up a lot of time into the old Ford there. So if we got to go no brakes, we got to go no brakes. But last ditch effort. Here we go. Like I'm telling you, that's just a cute little fella. I love it. All right, let's just heat this guy up so, you know, when it gets really hot, it blows up on a fella. That's okay. We'll get this guy going. If it burns out the seals, it burns out the seals. If it unseizes it, it unseizes it. This is the way she goes. Well. Now, we are leaking out the front. We were going to replace the cylinder anyway. Not a big deal. But we might gain brakes today after hammering and heating. Now, our brake pedal engages here. And as you can see, we have pressure. Awesome. I'm going to bleed that guy out, try to get that gunk out of there. And then we're going to put the cap back on and basically just pump the pedal 1,000 times. Try to get it that way. All right, well, that's about all we can do for that fella. Take him off the jack stands and stuff. We'll start him back up and we'll see if we got brakes. Can't go wrong with that. Let's see if she moves a little bit. I'll put some safety wood. About you, even though we don't got no brakes, I still want to take this guy for a drive. So we're going to the backfield. We'll play around a little bit. Take our safety wood with us, you know. Kind of coax her through. Should be pretty good. Oh yeah, she's all good. I like it. Now, don't tell Ma. Well, this is our humble racetrack. Our I think it's most likely a 16th of an oval, something like that. Should work out. So let's just see if old Smokey's get up and go has got up and left, or if the old girl still got it. She definitely is a one-legger. I can tell you that for free. We'll play around a little bit more. There's still more field to explore. We're just shaking the cobwebs out of her. She needs that for the mechanical work. Yeah. What do you think, Clay?
Oh, she's sexy.
There's a big rut there.
He looks super cool.
Give her some throttle because you won't make it up the hill otherwise. Like driving a buckboard.
It's true.
Oh yeah, she's a good little gal. When's the last time you drove this way?
With Dad, maybe 5 years ago.
Okay.
You're a new figure 8.
Good luck.
We could take this to Tim Hortons, I think.
Good luck.
We just can't stop once we get to Tim Hortons.
No. Decided to get a video of my brother driving her around. That's awesome. Look at that thing. It's just like a big old tractor going around. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, the carburetor doesn't like it without choke. Cobwebs out of her. You want to take her home or you want me to?
Doesn't matter.
Well, man, they don't make them like they used to. The old girl stretched her legs out. Time to go to sleep. Let's take her back. Well, now that that little fella is running fantastic, just needs brakes, time to start working on this old Massey Ferguson. Now, I don't think this old Massey's gonna give me too hard of a time. It's been sitting here for about a year. Untouched, hasn't really moved around much. We'll see how things go. Pretty much, that's the best I can do. Let me clean up around it, and then we'll dive right into it. So, this old fella, kind of looking around, looks like my dad had the battery charger all set up to her. And as you can see, the old battery's in here, but we're getting a bunch of nothing off the key. So, makes me think that this battery is kaput. So, we're gonna rip him out, put the red top on, we'll put him on a trickle charge, see if it can zoom back to life. But yeah, put a battery in it, see what's going on. I was just about to throw a battery into this fella. Then I got thinking, I'm not sure if that's actually the positive cable where that battery was. So I traced this one. He's an easy one because I know the starter's on this side. Well, I traced him. He's battery starter. So that means this was the positive post and that was the negative post. All right. So hopefully nothing's fried. We'll throw the battery in and we'll see what she does. All right, I just got it sitting there basically. Key on. Okay, so we do have voltage. So we got the battery in. So the other battery was in backwards. That explains why it's dead. Hopefully the electronics are still okay on this. We'll have to wait and see. Let me set you guys up and we'll see if it whirls over. Battery connections, they're very loose. Battery connection. Oh yeah. Might have to clean up these connections or maybe even change out the ends. Yeah. Let me clean out the ends on this. We'll try just sandpaper first and we'll go from there. We got just the trick for her. Hiding somewhere in this big bundle here. Yeah, there you go. New end. We'll grab the negative out and we'll put a new negative end on. There we go. Got the new negative on. Positive, all that stuff. Check the oil, all that stuff. I didn't check hydraulic yet, but we'll see if it whirls over first. We'll go about it that way. I'm feeling confident this round. We'll see how she do. Might need a snort. Don't know if there's glow plugs on this. What's this do? Break that needle off at high idle. We got good OP. I think she's gonna need a little huff from the laughing gas. Pretty sure. We got any? Oh, look at that. Sure do. What's that? Is that an air cleaner? Oh yeah, it is. Just give her a nice little huff. Good work out. One would think. Let's see if those hydraulics work. don't know how to do that, but it's not good. So let's get the tractor over here. Let's get that Galaxy up in the air and park it up. All right, so here's the plan. We're gonna go underneath. We're gonna chain that through tires. We're gonna chain it to him. We're gonna see if we might be able to lift this guy right up. I think every OSHA manual just burst into flames on that one, but we'll see how we do. Should work out. Well, good morning. It's a balmy 1 degree Canadian outside. That's what the C stands for. Either way, we have a David Brown tractor we got to get going. It can't stay in this hole where it has to be. He has the snow blower and all that stuff on her. When my dad got sick, he hasn't, this guy never moved in the last 5-6 years, especially when we got the David Brown, especially when we got the Massey Ferguson. So he might be a little bit harder to start. But there's only one way to find out. So let's dive right into it.
So what do we got going on with this? We got keyage. Oh! All right, so it does turn over. It does have kind of juice. I think we're gonna have to change out that battery, but that gives me a lot of hope.
So doing some hunting, I actually found the battery is up front.
Odd spot, eh? So what we gotta do, gotta take that guy off, because I guarantee he's deader than dead. And then we're just gonna ram jam a new battery in.
All right, so here's the predicament. That battery can't come out because this boom needs to be up in order to get it through this hole right here. Physically can't get through. This addition seems to be like an afterthought. Normally it would have some kind of heavy duty apparatus attached to it, but it makes it so you can't take the battery out without the boom up. So what we're gonna try, I have the booster cables basically from here right to our posts. We're gonna try that. No guarantees that anything here is gonna work, because that's an awful lot of extra cable, but we'll see. It might whirl over. We might have to figure out how to get that bucket up. I might have to go get the other tractor, start him, lift this bucket to get that battery out. Yes, sir. Either that or I unbolt this whole front end, and I don't want to do that. So I ended up changing the red cable end as well. Should have changed that yesterday. That's all right. They're just on loose right now. So let's start this guy up. Use him to lift up that bucket, change his battery, start him up. So this old fella, after all the bagging over there in the field, and
looks really wet there. He just doesn't know. It's gonna get to be a problem.
These tires look some good on this truck, but what we learned yesterday, they are no good at all on wet grass. And you know, the old Ford really had fun back there. Stretched her legs. All the stuff over here and all that stuff. When we shut him off here, he did not want to start again. Click, click, click. You know, I think the starter cable, the one we tightened, must have got loose on it again. I'm going to check that real quick, and then we can start him up because he has to go right beside the Galaxy. All right, got this old little fella all set up now. So we did the best we could on that starter cable. Let's see how she works. Should turn over now. There we go. That's what we wanted. The wiring in this poor old fella really is quite bad. So I'm gonna have to start it out from here because the starter push button finally gave up the goose. So the idea is, gonna put her in reverse, gonna come right here and park her right there. All right, let's ram jam them right there. All right, so he's hunkered down. Got the 1950s F47 hanging out with the 1964 Galaxy 500. We're gonna put 2 pieces of wood in there, just kind of keep them from rolling just in case. Side note, as I said, the electrical in this truck is an absolute disaster. If you guys didn't know, I slammed the hood twice over there. Slamming the hood engaged the starter. So I had to move it back here. That was the grinding sound. It was either shut it off and maybe never get her back to here, or port her here and deal with her here. I think we're going to do that instead. Let me put some wood. We're going to strip the battery out of it. Lock her up. Lock her up. Might be dangerous, but lets me fish that battery out of there. Let me get that battery out of there, replace it with the other one. All right, let's see what we got now. Hinge. No connection. These connections are really bad, really bad. All right, so desperate times come for desperate measures. I cleaned up the really bad connections in here, and then what I proceeded to do is hook up my booster set to the negative post. And what we're doing is we're bringing the negative all the way over to the starter. It's kind of hopefully bypassing all the bad wiring other than the positive cable. That's the plan anyway. We'll see how we do. All right, and contact. We're close. We're really close. Here we go. We're very close. Very close. Try that again. I'm not too happy about her. Close. We might not have any fuel going to the pump at all. I almost wonder, I think I just found a fuel shutoff. And the reason I never noticed it on the actual tractor is it's just a piece of mechanic's wire. I think that's a fuel shut-off to the pump. Come take a look. Now, that's my fault. I never even noticed it, but this wire right here, if you pull it, it actually moves this on the front of the injection pump, and I think that's your fuel shutoff. So that's what we're going to try. I'm going to try pulling that guy out, and we'll try her again. Contact. That's all for the one. Shutoff. I would have never guessed just the wire was the fuel shutoff, but I guess that's exactly what it was. Way she goes. So what we're gonna do now, gonna let this guy warm up. I should be able to drop that down, disconnect my cables, take him out of the way, and we should be able to slink him out of the way. Alrighty, it's been idling here for quite a while. I would say a good 20 minutes or so. See how we're doing. Alright, temp gauge obviously don't work. That's okay. Fuel gauge, we're hoping it works. So let me take off my battery cables. We gotta start him up, move him out of the way. And then we're gonna see if we can get this guy out of here. We seem to have battery issues on everything. For some reason, went to start this guy, couldn't get him to even turn over. Tried jumping the solenoid, tried jumping the starter, nothing. Who knows? Maybe the starter just went out. You never know. But either way, I took the battery out. We put him on the charger just in case. So I'm gonna try to back this guy up and scrape, scrape, scrape. We might be able to fit him through here. Maybe. So one thing I'm learning quite quickly on that tractor, there's no valve or the valve stuck or whatever to bring down that bucket. It won't come down. You have up and up, and that's about it. As for the old Massey, we're gonna have to get him out of here just so then, you know, we can drive him out of here, because I don't want to shut him off because we already know that the cables are all screwed up. It's quite a fine dance around here. All right. I pulled the tractor out with the truck for the time being. Let's move the David Brown. He's just gonna go there for right now. There's a couple hydraulic issues that have to be done on him, but for right now, we'll just move him, let him sit where he needs to sit. All right, good. So he's moved now. That frees up that whole spot. He's basically likely going to stay right here for the time being. He has a little bit more hydraulic issues than this little fella. But we got to figure out why this little fella doesn't start, because we still got to move that El Camino. If push comes to shove, we can pull him into the other yard, but at least right now, he's back here. So we have this battery. So we have the battery on the charger just in case it was just that. When he's fully charged, we'll throw him in. We'll try it again. If not, we might have to drop that starter. So after lots of fiddling, it's the solenoid on the starter. That fella let go. So I might be able to take him apart and fix him up, but we got the guy running now, so we can use it for what we need to do. I'll move the truck. We'll move the tractor over there. Then we got to deal with that El Camino. So now that brings us to the El Camino. Story on this fella, my dad was driving this. It was actually in a lot better shape than the Trans Am up until about April of last year, and then pretty much just died and never really started up again. Might just be starter cables, might be starter itself. It's hard to say. But we're going to try to get this guy going again. That way we can move him around and all that stuff. So let's just dive right in to this bullet on wheels. So diving into this fella adds a little bit of confusion. I have this cable here. Looks like it's my main negative to my battery to my block. He's not connected to anything. Then I have my positive. There's a splice there. I believe that's likely going down to my starter, but don't quote me on that. These look like booster cable ends. It looks like it's a fun time, not gonna lie. So what we're gonna end up doing on this, I'm basically gonna make a positive and a negative system for my engine, or try to find the original one and patch that into the battery, and then from there I should be able to figure something out. All right, this is one of those do as I say, not as I do, very temporary system. But I got my ground. It's in the factory location where this ground was, and then my positive, hopefully I redid the end, but hopefully there's not enough resistance in this vice grip to throw us off, because that's holding her together. That's what happens when you don't have any stuff and you don't buy the right things. So, let me go get the keys. We'll see if it whirls over, and if it does, we're in business. Let's see if this little fella moves. Well, couldn't ask for any better. Just need some battery cables and just a little bit of loving, not too extreme. As you can see, it's been sitting for a little bit, not gonna lie. So there we go, got the Trans Am parked up. Got all those fellas parked up. So there we go, got the Trans Am. All the old cars parked up. Pretty much the gigantic Blitzkrieg revivals. We did the 1950s Ford, the El Camino, both tractors. That was a good time. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I'll catch you guys in the next one really, really soon. Okay, see ya.